with some new developments after a high-profile case over an anti-ICE protest simply fell apart in federal court. There's some changes now coming to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago, and it could impact how other grand jury cases are handled. NBC5's Paris Church joining us live in the newsroom with exactly what's changing. Paris?
Yeah, Stefan, first there was a rare admission of error from the U.S. Attorney's Office and then an internal probe, and now that series of so-called sweeping reforms to guide prosecutors' conduct going forward. It all stems from that Broadview 6 case you mentioned where protesters were charged with conspiracy after being arrested outside an ICE detention facility last fall.
Boutros issued a mea culpa in front of federal judge April Perry. He acknowledged prosecutors made mistakes when they were trying to convince the grand jury to indict immigration protesters known as the Broadview 6. Now he goes a step further and says he's launched an internal probe and will institute, quote, sweeping reforms to the way his office handles a grand jury. Quote, there must also be remediation, reforms, and process improvements to allow organizations to accept responsibility and make sure that the same mistakes don't happen again. The news release lists only vague reforms, like creating, quote, unequivocal expectation for grand jury disclosures and, quote, expanded education for his prosecutors. Recent federal court documents revealed prosecutors committed several errors to the grand jury, including vouching for the case, improperly contacting jurors outside of court, and kicking out grand jurors who disagreed on bringing charges. And this week, Broadview 6 defense attorney Chris Parenti accused Boutros himself of having improper contact with the grand jury, a claim Boutros denies. Today, Parenti says these reforms are too little too late.
This isn't law school. This is the U.S. Attorney's Office, right? I mean, when you see the conduct that occurred in the grand jury, training is not going to help this. If they didn't, I mean, you don't need training to know what happened in that grand jury cannot happen ever.
But Boutros seeks to put to rest concerns that these errors have eroded public trust. Quote, these are clear, bright-line rules that everyone must abide by, which should streamline and simplify the decision-making and disclosure process, as opposed to bedevil it.
And U.S. Attorney Boutros' announcement also alludes to swift action on internal personnel matters. It didn't expand on if anyone has lost their jobs over this. Today's reforms come as an attorney on a different case, this one involving Loretto Hospital. Remember, executives there were charged with attempting to defraud the government through a fake COVID testing scheme. Now they're seeking to dismiss that case based on the admitted problems at that U.S. Attorney's office. Allison?
More to come for sure. Thank you, Paris.